Hello ladies, it's Nurse Curvy Ken. So today I wanted to do a getting ready with me makeup tutorial video. I wanted to do a pink look. Like I've said in other videos of mine, for so long I've been a black and white girl, but my husband is encouraging me to incorporate color into my wardrobe and into my makeup. So I wanted to do a pink look. Today I was going to be wearing the brunch and drinks dress from the Fashion Nova Curve haul that I previously did. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. But I did a pink look. So I'll start off by letting you guys know how I do my eyebrows. What I use is the MAC Stud Brow Pencil. I love this pencil. This is the first thing I pretty much learned to do my brows with. I've also tried the Anastasia Beverly Hills pomade where, you dip the angle brush in the pomade and you kind of fill your brows that way. That to me is a little harder. So for me, this is a lot easier. What I do is I start off by I line the underneath of my brow and then I go ahead and I outline the top to create the shape I want. Once I do that, I just go ahead and start filling in. And the color I use is Stud. Okay, so once my brows are lined and filled in, then I go in with my MAC angled brush and my MAC Pro concealers. I use the color NC50 and for the top portion NW55. You always pretty much want to do a lighter color for underneath your brow so you can also get that brow highlight, but not too light. And for the top portion, you always want to do something a lot closer to your skin color because you don't want that cast that you see a lot of women with when they do that when they do their brows around the outside of their brows. A lot of times they have that white cast where it looks like they got a white pencil and just outlined, or light brown pencil and just outline their brows. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going in under my brows with the MAC angle brush and I'm just outlining. I'm just trying to shape, conceal, and sharpen underneath my brows as best as I can. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much blend that out really well. So what I found was a lot easier is when I go in midways the brow versus starting at the beginning where my brow begins at the very beginning and then trying to drag it all the way across. That can be a little harder if you don't have a very steady hand. So kind of work in increments when you're outlining your brow and take your time so you can create that really precise line underneath your brow. Okay, so now that I've did my underbrow area, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my darker shade and outline the top portion of my brow. One thing also that I found was better for me was not quite starting right at the tip of the brow so that that top portion of the brow, the front portion of the brow, can still remain kind of natural. So I go in just like maybe a half a centimeter away from the front portion of my brow. And then I go ahead and I start to outline the top portion of my brow. Okay, so once my brows are outlined, I want to go in with one of my blending concealer brushes from Sephora. And I just want to kind of press the concealer into my skin. Something that I feel that I've learned with doing makeup is I was always a rubbing girl with makeup, rubbing it in, trying to pretty much rubbing it in and moving my brush back and forth versus patting it into the skin. So right now, all I'm trying to do is just pat it into the skin so that I can start blending it out. Next, I'm going to use my P. Louise base, which I love these bases. I saw a lot of my favorite YouTubers and a lot of the ladies that I follow on Instagram using this base. So basically, I just put a little bit on the back of my hand, and with a concealer flat brush from Real Techniques, I just go in and apply some to the lid. Now, what I did notice is that I do apply mine very sparingly, but a lot of my favorite bloggers and makeup artists do apply a much heavier coat. So I think next time I'm gonna start applying a heavier coat, especially when I want to use a highly pigmented color, like I'm gonna be using a pink. I think I'm gonna go a little bit heavier with my base. Now, another thing that I found out about the P. Louise bases is that these bases are pretty much self-setting, so you don't have to go in and set them with your midnight powder or your setting powder after you apply it. You just go ahead, like I'm doing, and go ahead and just press it into the skin. And you want to kind of blend it in with the color that you did for the underneath of your brow. Okay, so here, I'm just continuing to press my P. Louise base into my lid, trying to create a very even base for my eyeshadow application. Okay, so now I'm going to use these very inexpensive strips from E.L.F. I know I see a lot of YouTubers and bloggers that use tape, but I found these at my local Walmart, and they're just the strips that are already pre-measured. And what I do is I go from the outer corner of my eye and I measure to the tip of my brow. And I try to make sure I create a very even line on both sides when I apply the strips. And basically what that does is just allows for a much sharper eyeshadow application. Okay, so I'm getting ready to go in with this bright pink from the Festival palette by Juvia's Place. When I tell you guys I love this palette, I just love Juvia's Place altogether. Their colors are so pigmented and easy to blend, especially for me being a beginner. I find that some of the other palettes are a lot harder to blend and make look seamless, but I'm just really in love with this pink by Juvia's Place. So right now, I'm just going in and creating a circular motion with my eyebrow, with my eyeshadow, and I'm going ahead placing it in a circle. Now I'm getting ready to go in with that goldish yellow for the top portion of my eyeshadow to kind of blend that harsh line out from the Festival palette. So I'm going to lightly place that, and then I'm going to start to go in and blend it out. And I'm using one of my blending brushes from It Cosmetics. I love the brushes from It Cosmetics. So now that I've got rid of that very harsh line I had with my pink and my gold blending together, I'm going in with this burgundy shade from my Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette. And I'm just gonna go in with a more precise eyeshadow brush, and I'm just gonna kind of put that right into my crease. And because I'm gonna go in and do a cut crease, so I want a nice darker shade to kind of fade into the pink. So I'm just going in on both sides. And now I'm gonna go back over it with that bright pink from Juvia's Place and blend that out. One thing that I had not been doing for so long with my eyeshadows was blending. And now I realize with makeup, blending is key. I would always hear the YouTubers talking about blending, but blending is definitely key. Now I'm going in with my Louise base and a concealer brush in the shade 3. I think that's the most appropriate shade for dark skin women with a cut crease. That's probably the middle shade, but I also would like to try the 1 and 2 and also some of the colored bases for when I want to do a really pigmented look. So basically I'm going in and I can't say that I'm following the natural curve of my crease because I have a very low crease and my crease is very hooded. So I'm kind of going above the crease, creating a half moon shape. And as I do that, I'm kind of filling in underneath. So just go very slowly. Don't try, like I told you with the brows, just step by step so that you can get that precise line. Don't try to just draw your curve all the way across. Just take your time, step by step, and go in and add the base. Because remember, with makeup, you can always add, but it's hard to take away, especially when you're doing your eyes. So take your time and don't do too much or try to put too much product at once. Okay, so now I'm going in with this really pretty color from one of my Anastasia palettes, and it is kind of like a whitish gold pigment, almost, yeah, like a whitish gold peachy color. And I'm gonna do place my eyeshadow in thirds. So that's gonna be the first third. I've been seeing a lot of bloggers do that, and I really like how it creates that nice gradient look from lighter to darker with the glitter shimmery shades. It's really pretty. So I'm just placing that lighter peachy colored white gold into the inner third portion of my eye. Okay, so now in the middle, I'm just going in with a nice gold shade that's kind of similar, but a much darker and pigmented gold than the one I had in the inner portion of my eye. So I'm going to place that gold on both of my lids. Okay, so now I'm going in with my Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette with this really pretty shimmery pink, and I'm gonna put that in the outer portion of my eye. And those of you that have never had the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palettes, they smell so good. That's why I was like, just sniffing away. So look how pretty that is, you all, as I place that right in that outer third of my eye. It's a really beautiful shade. The colors actually went really, really well together. And once I place that pink and get it nice and pigmented, then I'm gonna go back in with my pink from my Juvia's Place palette, and I'm gonna go ahead and blend. Okay, so as you can see, I'm still just blending and blending. I want the pink to blend in with the color I used from the Too Faced palette. So I'm just blending the outer corners of my eyes. And I'm also going back in with that gold to continue to blend the top portion of that pink. I want to blend, blend, and blend. Okay, so now I'm going in with my eyeliner. Another thing I found with the eyeliner, similar to doing my brows and similar to my cut crease, is I used to try to start from the inner portion of my eye and drag the eyeliner all the way across, and every time I would make a mess. So now what I do is I'll start from the middle, create the nice line, and then I'll go back to the inner portion of my eye. Because I have not quite perfected it yet. But I love this NYX liner. I do see a lot of bloggers and YouTubers using this liner. And the way that the brush is, it's very slim. So even if you mess up, you're able to go back over it again. And I'll leave the information to that below. I'm also using the NYX very black eyeliner to line the underneath of my eyes. You know what? Come to think about it, something that I did not do with this look is I did not go in once my foundation and everything was done and line the bottom of my eyes with my eyeshadow. That would have made it even prettier, but I just thought about it. That's a step that I did not do. So now I'm getting ready to go in with my Oil Control Prep and Primer from MAC. I had stopped using this for a while, but now I'm back to using it. I do like it. I still have to use my BECCA on top of it for my smile lines and for additional oil control, but I do like the MAC Oil Control. So now I'm going in with my BECCA. And so what I do, this one, at first I was like, oh, I don't like this stuff, I don't like this stuff. But I had to learn how to apply it. So I'll leave the full name of it below. But you have to kind of rub this in your fingers. It's almost like Vaseline, but if you try to put it on like that, it will cake up on you. I make sure to put it because I have really bad smile lines on the side of my mouth and my makeup tends to crease there. So I definitely always put it there. And then I also go in with my Midnight powder in the shade Topaz, and I also set my smile lines. So that's something that I found was really good. Also, after prepping and priming my smile lines, going in and setting them, and that helps a lot with preventing those smile lines. So now I'm going in with my Fenty Foundation in the shade 450 with my face, I'm going to say my face, it's the Face Pop brush by Real Techniques, but I'll leave the full name of the brush below. I love this brush. And I'm applying my foundation. Again, I'm patting it into the skin. I had started using Stila, and I also was using MAC, but to me the MAC Studio Fix all of them kind of have either like a super yellow undertone or a super red undertone. And I think my undertone is kind of golden to neutral. And so Fenty has like a million shades. Like Rihanna outdid herself with this one. So I'm just going in and blending my foundation out. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to go back in again and set those smile lines. That's like a big issue of mine, like when I'm taking pictures or when I'm looking in the mirror and my makeup just looks amazing, but then boom, I have these smile lines on the side of my face. So even after my foundation application, I go back in with my BECCA and I set. So now I'm doing a triangle going upward to conceal my makeup, and I'm using the color Fawn in the LA Girl Pro Concealer. So I really want to know what Fenty concealer matches with this concealer. So I'm gonna have to look that up, because right now I've tried the MAC 24-hour concealer, and I've tried the Sephora concealer and a few more, and I have not found a concealer that to me is comparable in price and quality to the $2.99 or $3.99 LA Girl Pro Concealer. So what I've just done is I've sprayed my brush with my MAC Prep and Prime setting spray, and I'm just going in blending out my concealer. Again, I'm not a pro with blending, but I'm definitely trying to get a lot better, especially with my highlighting and contouring. I've really been working on that. So I'm blending and blending. Now I'm going in with my Fenty concealer to contour in the shade 498. I want to say I think this is the darkest shade. So I want to make sure I don't go all the way down my jawline, and I don't really have much of any forehead, so I only kind of contour on the outsides of my brows just so that I have something for my brow contour to blend into. And I do contour my nose because I do have a larger nose. And I'm also still working on my highlighting and contouring. So if you guys have any tips for me, please let your girl know, because I want to get better. So I do welcome all constructive criticism, all tips. I welcome it, welcome it, welcome it. So I'm going back in with my concealer brush from Sephora, and I'm trying to blend out that nose. Now I'm going in with my BECCA setting powder in the color Topaz, and I'm setting the areas that I put my LA Girl Pro Concealer. Now I'm going in with my setting powder and setting my contour. And I'm also going all over with my brush, which is one of my brushes from the Heavenly Luxe line of IT Cosmetics. Now I'm going underneath so that I can kind of define where I put my contour with just a little bit of my BECCA concealer. Now I'm using my brow tint by Ulta Beauty, and I'm just gonna go in over my brows. And what I find that it does is it kind of sets my brows so they don't move as much during the night and when my face starts to get oily after several hours. And I'm also letting that concealer kind of bake before I go in and start blending it out. Okay, sis, it's time to blend, blend, blend. We want our contour and our highlight to be as seamless and as blended as possible. So I'm also gonna go in with my MAC setting powder, and I'm also gonna apply some of that to kind of blend everything together. And it's in the shade Darkest Deep. And now I'm getting ready to spray my all-nighter setting spray by Urban Decay. So I have a really, really oily skin, so I like to nicely drench my face in this. And actually it really helps. For so long I did not know what setting spray was for, what it did, but that's a holy grail for me. Now that is my Juvia's Place highlighter. And I'm going to be using my Saharan blush palette. And I usually do my blush and my highlighter afterwards, so those can kind of stay at the forefront and give me a nice shine, and so that my blush can be applied really well. As you can tell, I love Juvia's Place. And so I'm going to go ahead and apply my blush first. And again, I'm using one of my Heavenly Luxe brushes from It Cosmetics, and I love, they feel so soft. They're a little expensive though. They're $48 a brush, but overall I really, really love them. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and lightly dust above where I placed my blush, my forehead, my nose, and my chin with the highlighter from Juvia's Place. And sometimes I can kind of get carried away with the highlighter, so I still kind of go back over and blend that out as well when I get a little carried away. Okay, let's get into these lips. I'm gonna be using the Chestnut Liner by MAC. I really like this liner. It goes with a lot of different colors, and when paired with the color Whirl, it creates for a really nice nude that is dark skin appropriate. And I mean, any color can be used well with all shades, you know, if done the right way. But you know, it's a really nice subtle nude that I think pairs with my skin very well. And so now I'm gonna go on the inside of my lip and apply the color Whirl, which is a nice pinky, kind of a pinkish nude. And I'm gonna pair that with the chestnut. And overall, I really enjoy doing this look. Again, I'm not a girl that usually does a lot of bright colors, so I really enjoyed it, and I really like this look. I went to a brunch with some cousins and friends, and they also really enjoyed my look. So overall, guys, let me know what you think. How did I do? What I can do better? I love you all's feedback. I love when you guys, my friends that are close to me, when you text me, oh, I loved it, but you could have did this a little better. Or, oh, you know, when you guys comment, oh, I loved it, but you could have been a little closer to the camera, or I wish the lighting was a little better. So whatever you guys think, let me know. I want to become better at what I'm trying to do, and become a better makeup artist. So please let me know what you think. And overall, I had a great time recording this video. And as you can see, it is a lot better from my last video, and I did incorporate contouring. Thanks, guys. Mwah! From Nurse Curvy Can.